All right, so in this video, we're going to be looking at proportional relationships. So in proportional relationships, we're going to take the word unit rate that you learned when you were in 7th grade, and we're going to call it now the constant of proportionality, or we abbreviate that to be C.O.P. And we're going to calculate it by doing the dependent variable divided by the independent variable, or another way to think about this is the y value divided by the x value, depending on how we look at it. If it's a word problem, we're going to think what's the dependent variable and what's the independent variable. But if it's a graph, we're going to look at the y coordinate and divide it by the x coordinate. So this is really going to be our big idea moving through this video. So in the table below, it's showing the cost of the tickets, which is the DV, and the independent variable, which is the number of tickets. With the independent variable, I always think, what can I control? That's going to be the independent variable. I control it. I control how many tickets I buy. The movie theater controls how much I pay. So to calculate it, we do the DV divided by the IV. And in this case, that would be 8 divided by 1, or 16 divided by 2, or 24 divided by 3, or 32 divided by 4. If the relationship is proportional, we should get the same ratio each time. And so 8 is the constant of proportionality. And we can actually write an equation that the cost is equal to 8 times the number of tickets you buy. And notice right there, 8 is the COP. So if something is proportional, the constant proportionality goes right next to the variable in the equation. So if a table is proportional, when you divide the DV by the IV, you're going to get the same number each time. So the example below that shows how much it costs to play in a soccer tournament. And so the DV again is the cost. The IV is the number of family members, because I control how many people I have that I'm going to register. I don't control how much it's going to cost. So if I do 7 divided by 1, I get 7. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. So this is not proportional because we didn't come up with the same unit rate or the same COP each time. So therefore, it's not a proportional relationship. So we're not going to be able to write an equation like we were for the last time. And so we can use a graph to determine if a relationship is proportional. This is the graph of the tickets, which we knew was proportional. One major reason is because look at this coordinate, 1, 8. If I do y divided by x, that's the other formula we can use. We can do dv divided by iv, or we can do the y coordinate divided by the x coordinate. 8 divided by 1 is 8. Or the next coordinate is 2, 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So notice each of these points are pretty much the same coordinates or the same ratios that we did in the table, all of which, when we do y divided by x, gives us the same number. It's going to be not proportional if it looks like this. So the x coordinate is 1, the y coordinate 7, the x coordinate's 2, the y coordinate's 8, 3, 9, 4, 10. And so if I divide y by x, 7 divided by 1 is 7, 8 divided by 2 is 4. These are not equal, so it's not proportional. So both of these are a straight line. Both of these are linear. But only one of them starts at 0, 0, or the origin. So in order to be a proportional relationship, and this is another really big idea, you have to be a straight line and you have to start at 0, 0. Non-proportional relations could be linear, like this one is linear, but they don't even need to be linear, but they do not start at the origin. So if I look at this graph, which is the same one that shows the number of tickets, how can I determine the cost of 5 movie tickets? So one way is to just use the graph. 5 tickets cost $40. So one way I can do that is use the graph. But like, what if I wanted to know 10 tickets? That's not on this graph. So this is one method. The second method is to calculate the constant of proportionality, which is the unit rate, by doing y divided by x and multiplying by 5. So for instance, when I do 8 divided by 1, I get 8. That's my C.O.P. That was supposed to be an arrow. And then if I do 8 times 5, I get 40, which tells me how much 5 tickets are going to be. So the graphs below are showing the number of points you earn each level, which are proportional, and in which game can you earn the most points in level 2. And so I'm going to look here. Level game A is proportional. It starts at 0, 0, and it's a linear function. So game A is proportional. Game B is linear, but it doesn't start at 0, 0. It doesn't start at the origin, so that is not proportional. Game C is proportional because it starts at 0, 0, and it's linear. So game A and game C are proportional because they start at 0, 0 and are linear. And they wanted to know level 2, who has the most points. So level 2 here is 100 points. Level 2 here is 150. Level 2 here is 200. So game C earns the most points at level 2. Okay, so here they want us to calculate the C.O.P and use it to fill in the table. So we need to look and see what's the IV, what do I control, and what's the DV. I control how many cups of yogurt I buy. They determine the cost. So the C.O.P is the DV divided by the IV, which is going to be, in this case, 18 divided by 4, which is going to be $4.50 per cup. We always use the word per when we label a COP. So 1 cup would be $4.50, 2 cups would be $9, 3 cups would be $13.50, and 4 cups would be $18. And then Michael says that the age is proportional. So Raj's and Danny's age is proportional. So basically, if I divide one by the other, I should get the same number. So if I do 10 divided by 5, I get 2. If I do 15 divided by 10, I get 1.5. So these are not proportional because there isn't a constant ratio. Constant is kind of the key word here because that's what the C stands for in C.O.P, constant of proportionality, because if it's proportional, it's the same ratio every time. Okay, so here we have a marathon pace, and so this person ran a certain amount of time and a certain number of miles. So the coordinates for A are 20, 4, and the coordinates for B are 40, 8. And how am I interpreting these points? Well, the X coordinate is the time ran, and the Y coordinate is the number of miles ran. And can we use the information above to find the rate per minute? Yes, that would be the C.O.P. So remember, to find the C.O.P or the unit rate, those are the same words, we are doing the Y value divided by the X value. So we're going to do 4 divided by 20, which is going to be 0.2. And we would say 0.2 miles per minute. And so what does this rate mean in the problem? It means that they can run 0.2 miles per minute. And so anytime you need to explain the rate, you're going to just say 0.2 or whatever you get, blank per blank, and it's always going to be Y per X. So in this case, Y was miles and time was X. So that's how I knew to write miles per minute. So here we have a table telling us the cost per serving of chicken with vegetables and rice. So I control how many servings I have. The cost depends on that. So to calculate the C.O.P, I'm going to do DV divided by IV. So 250 divided by 2, which is 1.25. And let's practice again writing the label. It's going to be Y per X. So cost, dollars, per serving. So it's $125 per serving. So how is the unit rate shown in a table, graph, and equation? So the table, the unit rate is calculated by doing the dV divided by the IV, or the Y divided by the X. Same thing with the graph. Use the coordinate to do Y divided by X. And then an equation, it's the coefficient of X. So for the last one, it was Y equals 1.25X. So this number, the coefficient, is the C.O.P. So the C.O.P is the ratio Y divided by X, and it is the unit rate. And in the context of this problem, we knew that it was $1.25 per serving. So for this last one, I control the number of minutes I type. The number of words depends on that. So if I do the C.O.P, that would be 320 divided by 2, which is going to be 160. Let's practice writing it. Words per minute. And if I were to write an equation, it would be y equals 160x. That would help me calculate the number of words based on the number of minutes that I typed for.